Hey, well, welcome to another edition of Tuning In with Tony. Here on this June 2026. There's got to be a numerology in there somewhere. It's not by accident that this show was brought out today, right on the day that we're going to be giving some insight on the summer solstice. We just had this literally like a week ago ish, and there's been a lot of changes. We just finished our sound bath, which was the theme of the summer solstice, and today we're going to give some insight on perhaps why some of you people are feeling so tired. So that maybe the anxiety might be up there. Maybe you're feeling a little disoriented or something. It's not age. It's vastly something else. It is a global thing, so we're gonna explain a little bit about what's going on, and we're gonna give you some techniques and maybe some tips on how to get through this. It's going to be quite interesting. So stay tuned for this show. Hopefully you'll get something out of it that will give you some clarity. Okay, and just before we start, this show has been brought to you by Higher Self and somaenergetics.com. We're basically all a group of teachers and organizers that have been brought together to bring a higher level of vibration, higher level of spirit to other people that are asking. This is, they want to get to a certain place, and they're just looking for guidance, looking for different ways. And to get that, we give readings. We can give a personal tuning session to people, and this will give them that actual hands-on help on how to be able to move their energies to a certain place. Now, a tuning session, I use tuning forks and various other vibrations, and it's like a massage, but there's no physical touch. So where you would normally have a sore back after a good massage, and these are good, you feel it as a benefit afterwards. This is more auric. We mostly work on the biofield of the body, this auric field. And when you can change the energy of that will seep into the energies and then all of a sudden create a completely different environment inside in your inner world. So we can give you that reading and then the tuning session. And speaking of vibrations, we just finished our sound bath a couple of days ago, and I'm still buzzing from it. It was quite different than what we normally went through, because I channeled the whole thing, and I didn't realize until after it was over that there was a lot of different things in there when I was doing the editing for the show and for the event. It was just incredible. So we're going to explain a little bit about why people are feeling that way. The other ways you can help yourself is just to take classes. Educate yourself on why you're feeling the way you're feeling. Sometimes you feel that you kind of know what's going on, but you just might need something or maybe a workshop that could give you some clarity where you have hands-on experience and hands-on exercises so that you could really tune yourself. And that's one of our classes, actually. It's a self-tuning class. We have that coming up in the Ottawa area on July the 5th. It's a Sunday at Rainbow Minerals on the east end of Ottawa. Now, this was turning into a in-person event only, but we've had such a surge of people asking, is this going to be online, because I really want to join. And they're from all over the States, and we've had one person in the UK. And I says, okay, so now we've made it so that it is an in-person and a virtual at the same time. We will have cameras set up that we normally do for our Phoenix group. So we have the experience to be able to bring those insights into that workshop. So if you're interested, let us know about that. We basically use 3 tuning forks, and over a 6-hour period, we'll give you the insight on how to use them to create health, to be able to clear things, to ground yourself. It's a wonderful class, and so many times I go a little over because for me, I like to under-promise, over-deliver, and people usually get so much out of it. So there's going to be a lot of energy work on that day. Okay, let me know if you have any questions about that. But we also have certified tuning sessions where we can teach you how to tune other people. whether it's clients you want to get to, maybe eventually turn it into a business, or if you just want to do and tune your family, tune your dog, tune your cat. There are different ways that we can use sound in so many ways. People use this to tune their horses and their cows and so on if they're on a farm. So there's many applications that we can use sound, and animals feel it big time. So if they feel it, it just takes a matter of time before we will start feeling something similar. We also teach distance tuning sessions, angel tuning, where we get into the higher realms. And our newest teaching that we're doing is Fibonacci. This is all about universal order and how we are using sound to bring universal order to a person's body. It's very new. It's cutting edge stuff. We've already taught the first part a week ago. We're doing the final and the second part this Sunday, and it's going to blow people's mind. I've already given it to some of the students as a sample just to see what it feels like, and they are just so, they don't even know what happened sort of thing. So this is the kind of transformation that Spirit really loves when we go through, because we uncover more of our brilliance when we do these cutting edge stuff. Now, we also have a podcast channel. You can go on to any of your podcasts that you really like, whether it's Apple Podcast or Spotify, and just simply type in the search, Raising Your Spirits with Tony, and you'll be able to find us there. And we're on well over 300 episodes. We've got over 1,200 downloads every day, so the show is really becoming very popular there. So we are so happy to the people that are supporting us and listening to this, because they're listening to those frequencies, and it will make a difference in your life. There's no way that it can't. People that have been coming every day to these classes, they're starting to see that their whole life is starting to change, and they're doing it just by listening to the frequencies that we have on the show. So hopefully this will somehow resonate with you, and you could find out whether this is something permanent that you want to do on a regular basis. In other words, keep listening to our podcast, keep listening to these Friday shows every time. And we also have a YouTube channel which has various also shows of the past on there, meditations and so on. So it's loaded with all kinds of free stuff that could help you along the way. To our members, these are people that want to get, if they can come to the class or whatever, we record these sessions all the time and then send it to them every week. And it starts off at like $5 a month, just mostly for production costs. But it's a great way to be able to come in and be able to find your personal time, and then you can listen to what happened earlier in the day. So this will really give you not only clarity of what's going on with our energies, but it'll also, with the various frequencies that we do in every single meditation that we end with, then that will really help your energies in that way, okay? So today's color. Well, today's color is, of course, yellow. We are basically the sun. The summer solstice is all about bringing more light into our earth, and bringing in a level of understanding that we can't even comprehend. The theme, of course, is transformation, but it's that the transformation is more about not so much that we are upgrading and we are transforming, because I think that's overused, but we use that word because people understand that quicker. But in reality, what it means is that it just seems to uncover more of the brilliance that you were born with. We don't get stronger. We don't get more connected. We were connected right at birth. And it was always the cloak or the different energies that were hiding us to make us smaller than we are, thinking us that we are trying to make us smaller, but in essence, when we start working it backwards, we uncover some of the things, then there we are. So we're actually unveiling our brilliance in a lot of this. But we call it transformation just for the speed of understanding, okay? So it was interesting because very recently, I did a tuning on one of my students that I taught, and they wanted to get a sample of what a certain technique would feel like. And once that was done, after a few days, got an email back, and basically all she got was I kept getting in my channeling or whatever it was a voice that kept saying, "Everyone needs a huge shift." And I'm thinking, so what do you think that means? When she says, there's so many years that we go through that we're doing like all of the surface stuff. Like the yoga is fantastic, and all of these other classes and the various things that we use to connect to spirit, to connect to our creator is all wonderful. But somehow she got the voice or the inkling to say that we need a huge shift. We need a large shift or a large break. And the domino effect was the summer solstice. This amazing light, it was the longest, logistically, it was the longest daylight of the year, but that pales in comparison with what happened on that particular moment. It's not so much a day, it's a portal of light that keeps coming in. And each time there's another ray of light, we get a little bit more connected to ourselves. And the people that are looking for answers, they are starting to become more, let's just say, tired. Some are getting agitated, a little bit of anxiety in there. And we're going to explain in this show why we're getting those things. Because it has nothing to do with the fact that you're lazy. People are calling that, and they're saying, "Tony, am I just getting lazy? Like I'm eating healthy foods. I jog or I walk my dog, and I do all activities, but it just seems like at 2 o'clock in the afternoon, I just get tired, and I feel I need to lie down or something." And I'm resisting because, gee, if I lie down, I'm not going to be able to sleep that evening. So, like, what's going on? Like, why are what's happening? And so the solstice is our indication that we are ready. As a race, as a human race, we are ready for our bodies to take on more light. So what does that mean? Well, what it means is that anytime we are holding on to things like shame or guilt or fear or anything else that is of low energy, it's sort of a dark spot or a shadow. It makes us so that we're a little smaller. When you feel guilty, it's really hard to feel unstoppable when you feel guilty about something, or when you feel fearful. It's always sort of you're stepping back, you're reserved, you're more passive. You let things happen to you, all right? So when we look at having your body that can take on more light, what this essentially means is that there's going to be more happiness that you're going to be used to. You're going to be smiling without trying. In other words, you won't have to have a reason to smile. I mean, there are still people in my downtown area, and those of you that are watching this show and from different cities throughout the States and Canada that we're getting, you can go downtown in one of your cities, and if you say hello and smile to somebody, they think there's something wrong with you. Like, well, what is that? Weird guy. And so it's just amazing that a smile and a hello, we've been conditioned that, oh, you can't trust this guy. He wants something from you. He's going to take something from you. And so that narrative has been going on for many, many decades. And, we might have a reason, like logistically, not to trust people, and I get it. However, there's got to be a point where, we're all the same. We're all trying to find our way around things, trying to find our openness and our something so that we can consistently get the higher energies in. So we are happy all the time. So when somebody says, "How are you doing today?" and they're really interested, the people that say it now, "How are you doing?" "Oh, I'm fine. Oh, good." It's almost like it's an act. But when somebody says, "How are you doing?" I says, "Oh man, I'm doing really well. He says, you are? Yes, yeah, really well. Like, yeah, overall, things are going really well. I've got a few things I'm working on, and it's all sort of coming together, and it's just wonderful. Now, if somebody isn't interested, they'll just change the subject, and I'll realize, oh, they only asked because they wanted to be kind or whatever, or just ask for no reason. But the thing is, we are going to go through a huge shift and rise in our personal frequency, and that's been happening for quite some time. Now, the match is, of course, the vibration of our whole body that is trying to match what's happening on this earth, where the earth is constantly upgrading itself. So, of course, anything on the surface, that includes us, all the animals, all the plants, all the wildlife, all the sea wildlife, everything, birds, everything is being upgraded because it just wants this higher level of whatever's going on. So they're not trying to label that it's a low energy. They're just saying that it's heavy. The earth is saying that this is a heavy energy, and we need to be able to lighten it in some way, because humans have such an incredible power that one person, when they feel like they're really unstoppable, when they feel like they're really on things and they feel like they're connected, it actually counteracts tens of thousands or even hundreds of thousands of people that are feeling negative. So we don't need to have an equal amount of positive people, and it's not just being positive. It's you. In other words, you've got light in your heart all the time. It's way more than just being in this place where you feel that you are. Some noise upstairs. It's way more powerful than just looking and wanting to force yourself to look at something positive. Like if something bad happens, you're saying, "Oh, this is really not good." So where's the positivity here? And you're looking for it. And when you get past that stage, it's almost like when something negative happens, hey, I can see the positive effects of this. So it's not so much you're trying to even relabel it or make it so that you don't see the bad stuff, as some people would call it. It's almost like something has to break through for something to really have a breakthrough. Something has to break down for something to break through. And so this is the more of the areas that we're going to be talking about today. The whole part of our sun is the vibration of the sun is a giving, and part of this transformation is all about turning on the light codes within our body that react to light, react to a special light that the sun rays come out. So this is why a lot of times Spirit wants you outside as much as possible now. Now that the summer solstice is here, try and get out or position yourself in your home if you can't always get out because, we get it. We have to have obligations and we have things we need to do and we like to be outside more, but just position yourself where you're in the light, in your office even. Or try to make it where in your break, you're sitting and you're just sort of soaking in the rays as much as you can. Because even 5 minutes in the sun will do wonders for your energy in that. So what we want to talk about today in this is that we have two main areas of our body that is really going to react very strongly to this. One is, of course, we all have inside of us, we are naturally intuitive beings. We have that because animals have it. They have instinct. They know what's going on. If you look at and be beside any dog or any kind of an animal, they sense things. They know something's going to happen. Now, I read somewhere that dogs particularly will know an event that may happen like several weeks from that day. So in other words, I've read stories on there was this one dog that wanted or the owner brought a dog over to a certain location in an apartment building, and the owner wanted to go into the apartment building, but the dog wouldn't let it. it didn't want to go in, and the owner says, "Well, what's the big deal? We've come here before." So anyway, the owner sort of forced the dog, "Let's go in. We have to go in and do our thing, and visit or whatever, visiting a friend or something." But the dog was really squeamish. Didn't want to socialize, didn't want to be with anybody, was always by the door, and couldn't wait to get out of the building. And so the owner was always wondering, what on earth is going on there? And then about 2 weeks later, there was a massive shooting in that building. There was somebody, it was a bunch of gang or something went into the building and started shooting. This was 2 weeks later than that. So in other words, they sense things way, way before things may happen. They just feel an energy in that. And so we have essence of that kind of intuition. It's just not practiced. It's just not honed the same way as animals. Because animals are hooked up hardline to the Creator, to God, to our universal flow. They are hooked up totally, and that's all they do. Everything and every decision they make is based on how they feel. And how they feel is basically the collective. What they feel, because they don't think that, okay, this is a nothing. We are the only animals on this earth that could discount insight and to discount feelings that, oh, that doesn't happen, and we will just keep doing something, even though we are told not to go down that dark alleyway, and we'll go down it anyway, even though we feel that something is probably there. An animal would never do that. A tiger would never go down, even as strong and as vigilant as a tiger and a lion is. If it senses there's something quite not there, it won't go down there, because it just knows that it's not there for their higher. They don't want to deal with something, unless they're being attacked or going after their cubs or something. They don't care. But us humans, we have this intuitive nature within us, and it is lodged in our third eye. It's right behind our brow. You won't see it on an x-ray, so don't bother looking. Doctors have tried. There's nothing there. There's just a bone, but it's an energetic center that comes in, and it vibrates to the color of violet or indigo. It's like a blue-purple mixed-in color, okay? And that's the energy of that center. So between that center and another center, which vibrates to fire, it's a sun energy, and it's our solar plexus. We call it the solar plexus, but it is our solar energy right in between those two. And when those two are really going along, and it starts to flare up, so it's the intuition that comes in, and the solar part of us is the action. That takes whatever insight that we get, and it makes it happen on this plane, on this earth. So if we could only get messages in, but our solar plexus is really not very strong, this is where we get so much hesitation. I don't want to do something because I feel that maybe what if I fail? What if I don't make it? What if it's not for me? What if I halfway through the program I don't like it? So there's always a hesitation if we only have insight. So the Creator has given us both. They've given us that insight and then the ability to be able to act on it, to be able to say, okay, this is how we're going to be able to do it, and they just get it done. So when your solar part of your energy is very active, very strong, and your intuition is strong, and there's nothing in between in terms of hiccups or fear or anything, you get something and you just do it. And this is where over the last several years, and especially for people like myself, where we get something and sometimes we'll channel something, it comes out of our mouth and it doesn't even go through our brain. It just comes out. And so many times I've said to people, like I'll channel something, and as soon as it comes out, I hear it because I've just said it, and then I'll say, hey, that's cool. So I just said it. So that's how you know that it's not your brain that has to filter anything. It just comes right from the insight, and your mouth is the telephone. That's it. There is no editing system. There's no filters or anything. That's what channeling basically is. It's just the connection from spirit to your mouth. That's it. There's nothing in between. But once it comes out, so what? If we don't act on anything, nothing happens. Because on this earth plane where we are, it's all about action. If somebody keeps telling you, I love you, I just love you, I adore you, and they say that all day, and you're saying, eventually you're going to say, well, but you never put your hand on my shoulders, you never hug me, there needs to be some form of action. And we're not talking, we're not talking sensuous stuff. We're just talking the fact that I love something. Like if I really, really like or respect a person, the first thing I'll do is a big handshake. If they're open for it, a man hug, whatever. And that is my way of saying, action, this is how I really respect what you do and who you are. So I have action within that. But if you just say that you're really good, but you never have any follow-up action, there's nothing ever says that you are doing what you're saying. Okay, people will eventually say, I don't know if this person is real. So the idea is that you get these two centers together, and right in between the two of them is the heart. Okay? Now, when your intuitive energy is really strong, and it only comes out of your solar plexus, chances are you're only going to be making decisions based on what's going to benefit you, because the heart, let's say, is not involved. All right? So when these two happen, the heart has to be involved in some way for it to be able to be, I want to help people. So, and I have seen myself, and I've seen other people, of course, when they say they want to help, even to their detriment, they will continue to follow through with what they promised. Okay, there's so many people like that, is that they just want to help. They're not doing it for themselves, and I don't even care if anybody knows about it. The fact is that, these people that you've chosen, maybe for something, you want to help them in some way, and you just do. And so there's no real push on how to turn that into a marketing solution or anything else. You just want to help, and you'll just go and you'll forget about it after a while. All right? So this is what it's all been, that we want to be able to plant and harness the various combined powers of your third eye and of your solar plexus, so that you are in that creator's flow, that universal flow. And that's really what all of us, among other things, all of us are trying to do. But we're doing it in so many millions of different ways. And it doesn't matter how you get there. And this is why, there's so many things in our society that we could turn to that could help us make it so these 18 inches that is between your solar plexus and your third eye is going to be easier for you to be able to tie them together so they're like as one. And we're going to show you a technique earlier today, and we launched it, and we brought it out the first time in the sound bath, and we're going to share it with you today, a little bit of that technique, okay? But this is where we need to really show that the heart has to be involved in this part of it, because when you take that energy from the third eye and it goes through your heart, then to your solar plexus, then it goes out, it has a much better humanitarian result. In other words, more people will feel it. It'll get into the collective consciousness or the collective energy. And all you need, literally, is maybe just a handful of people that will do that in an event like we had with our sound bath. And that would counteract like literally millions upon millions of people that are vibrating at the lower levels. In other words, what that will do is that people will feel that they have no hope. Let's say they're at that point where they have a number of obstacles that they've had to go through, and they're just tired. And that's another thing. We want to talk about that a little bit, that if they're tired and they've gone through all this and then they feel kind of down, that energy that others are sending out, it actually helps them bring it up. And they feel all of a sudden more soothing, and they don't know why. And it's okay. They don't need to. We don't need to measure how many people that we've helped. We just want to help as much as we can. All right? But let's go back to the tiredness for a minute. A lot of people right now, at least over the last few months, and it's more so, and it's going to be more so after this for the next 6 to 8 weeks at least, okay? Because we still have the July 7th coming. We're going to have a show on 7/7 by next week and to give you an idea of what's happening there. But this light is amping up and amping up to be able to give us a perspective of how powerful the energies around us are. And the trick is to be able to keep up with it rather than just say, oh man, everything's so heavy. I'm so tired. So when we get tired that way, it's just that your body is feeling the increased energy that is around you. Now, those people that are searching for insight, they're always looking to be a better person, they will find it that they're going to just feel sort of tired. And then this is where Spirit says, just lie down, just relax. And if you need to take a 15, 20-minute cat nap or just rest and just doze off a little bit, you need that because right now your body is in high renovation. There's a lot happening. The wires are being upgraded. I mean, you could only imagine a 1960 home with a 60 amp box, basically. And, you go in there, you want to put in a massive kitchen and all these other things inside because the house seems to be big enough, but the inside is very, very old, very outdated, all right? The plumbing is got the old galvanized pipe and so on. And so, a contractor will go through it. Oh, yeah, that's all got to go. The wiring is just that old. It's actually a fire hazard by now because it's so old. It could just ignite and the whole place would go. We'd have to change all the wiring. We have to change your panel box from a 60 to a 200 amp. Those of you that know what I'm talking about. But basically what they're saying is the plumbing, the electrical, everything has to be upgraded so that it will take on a new amount of energy of the people coming in because, we all have computers. We have multiple computers in cases. We have phones that need to be charged. We've got fridge, freezer. There's so much power. And in 1960, they didn't have any of this stuff. We were happy to have a fridge with a freezer right above it, and that was it. Now we've got a lot more capabilities. And in that analogy, that's kind of what we're going through. There's more things that are happening within our energy that wants to take on more light, wants to do things more powerful, but it takes more power, which means we have to upgrade the power coming in. If you only got 60 amp coming in, there's no way you're going to be able to put in a lot of this newer stuff. You'll be tripping wires all the time. And actually, even before that, they didn't have breakers. They had those glass fuses that you'd have to screw into the wall. That was the way that they used the fuses. But when breakers came in, the breakers just came off, letting you know that there's too much power, and if you keep tripping a breaker, it's time for an upgrade. In those old days, that when you blew a fuse, like when we say, like I'm going to blow a fuse, I'm going to blow a gasket. Well, this is people that are overwhelmed. They are getting all of this stuff and they can't handle it. They can't handle the stress. They can't handle the situation. And they just sort of implode, almost like they're not doing anything. But yet it's a 911. Action needs to happen. But nobody can have action if they're frozen. You can't act on anything if you're just totally numb in the head. Those of you that know what that means, it's almost like you just can't even think. Like coming home from a hard day's work, and even in the dead of quiet, the quiet is screaming. I think you know what that means. And that's all that energy trying to come out, all that stress of whatever that's happening at work. If you work at a factory, you get all those noise and so on, and all you want to do is go home to a quiet place, a place where you can rejuvenate, okay? So, all to say, this is why we're getting more tired, because your body is going through a massive renovation. Whether you wanted this renovation or not isn't really the point. the point is that even if you're not wanting to upgrade and you're not wanting to, be a nicer person, there are some people that are just happy being miserable, or just happy being angry, or happy being criticizing other people. So it's fine, but their energies are upgrading at the same time. And this is why they're going to become more angry and more sort of out there. They're going to be, because they don't want this stuff, but it's happening just organically. If you're just in an area where all this is happening, animals are upgrading, even though they never had to for millions of years. All of a sudden, in this particular time frame, Gaia, our Earth, wants to upgrade humans. Well, right now, humans are at a lower vibration. Now, this is from Spirit. It's not from any scientist, because Spirit is measuring the vibration of the planet with us on it. And it needs an upgrade. So it's just going to upgrade, and it upgrades everything. You can't just upgrade humans. Okay, plants are going funny. Some of the birds are flying in the wrong direction sometimes when they fly south, because the magnetic field is changing. There's new species of bugs. There's new species of viruses and all these things with this change. So the Earth is changing as well, okay? So in doing all of this, everyone's getting upgraded. So just when you figure you got your place going on, you're driving down the highway and somebody cuts you off, and they're all wild, and this is what's happening to them. When you resist something that wants to be a good thing in your life, you're going to be more irritated, because you're thinking to yourself, well, I never signed up for this. But here's the reality. Down the road, when a series of things happen, whether it's something that maybe you lost your pet, or you have a divorce, or grandma passed away, or some form of trauma in your life, where you start looking at your life and saying, well, who's going to come to my funeral? Or when people have sort of this perspective of who's going to come with me, then you look at things in a different light. You start looking things at the way that, like what mark am I leaving on this earth? Are people are just going to constantly be seeing that, this old man or old woman was crusty their whole life and then they passed away? Is that the way you want to leave this earth? And somewhere along the way, if that question is asked, like, what can I do? Even if it's, in your 70s or 80s, some people are starting there. They're saying that what can I do to make things so you're there for their reconsideration? And that's why you're being upgraded. So once you have all of the tools, and once you've got the modern kitchen, but you don't turn on the lights, you don't plug in the brand new extra wide freezer or the fridge or something, all the appliances are there, all the structure is there, it's just turned off. And wouldn't it be nice if you just say, I would like to be a nicer person? All of a sudden the switch goes on, and there you're already set up. So this is why Spirit is doing it for everyone, because there may be, and there is many times, a reconsideration of the fact that, okay, I do want to change, and whether it's environmental or whatever it is, they may just be tired of just feeling down all the time. People are feeling depressed or anxious all the time with anxiety. And so they want to make a change. And so these two centers, the third eye and the solar plexus, will constantly be firing back and forth. And the Solstice, the summer solstice, has basically turned these babies on. And right in the middle, of course, is the heart. And that's the part that really is there for their consideration. And so when we look at the restlessness and the tiredness, that's why we're all like that. Some people handle it very well. I've seen some people go through this, and they just seem like you don't even know something's wrong, but something's going through them. So they're handling it very well. Other people, not so much. They're having a really tough time with it, and they're constantly thinking that it's them. Oh, because of old age, or I'm tired because of whatever excuse they want to make it. And, you could say you're blue in the face that no, it's not your age. But, when a person becomes 50, they're going to get tired. Who told you that? In other words, 50, I hear the same thing from people that are 85. Yeah, when you get 85, that's, you realize you're not 81 anymore, and, you start looking at life differently. I hear that when people are in their 80s, not when they're 50. 50 is still amazing. You still got a lot of life in you. However, if you believe that, at this age, things are going to break down, and you are equating this tiredness and anxiousness, and sometimes you could be in a room and not know why you're there. There's a little bit of disorientation because as it changes the construction of the energy in your body, it also changes a little bit of your mental patterns. And you could be saying, oh, yeah, okay, I got to get some paper clips upstairs. You'll go upstairs into the office, and you're standing in your office. Okay, why am I here? And they're saying, oh, my God, my memory's going. Yeah, don't internalize it that way, because it's that disorientation is just part of the collaboration between your energy and this higher energy that wants to come in. I mean, they're trying to get rid of the Commodore 64. I mean, those of you that are old enough to remember that. Okay, it was an old computer in the 70s and 80s, and they're trying to make this new T1 and T2 type computer that is lightning fast, and to basically phase one out and then bring in this much better and stronger, more powerful computer kind of thing. So to do that, there's going to be construction. There's going to be things that are going to come down, and memory is one of them. So try not to equate that it's because of age. It's because you're being rewired. Any rewiring, if you're still in the home and the electrician they have to turn off. They can't be, changing all the light fixtures and all the wires with everything being live. Have you ever tried that? That's so dangerous. You got to turn off the power. And so with your energy, when that power goes out, you feel this lethargic. Oh, you got all this heaviness, okay? So those of you that kind of understand what I'm talking about, just realize that this is the phase that you're going through, and this is part of your story. Once this is wired, once this is all done and the power goes back on, oh my God, everything will be so much easier. You'll wonder, it's like, what's the big deal? You were struggling at just, memorizing or keeping a couple of things in your head. After this, you're going to be able to remember many things, 20, 30, 50 things without any problem. And you'll think, oh, okay. But the point is, when you look back at what you used to do, and then you realize what you're doing now, it's vastly different. We already have studies that show that the amount of things that we do compared to our grandparents, we do more in 4 hours in a morning than our grandparents used to do all week. Sometimes all month, depending if they were farmers or whatever. But I'm saying if they were like office workers and that kind of thing. We do far more. Like our intricacies in our brain has almost doubled since the 100 years ago. So what does that mean? It means that as we are growing and expanding, we constantly want more. And the brain responds by more neurons, more things that could do things. And so this is the thing, is that to be able to see where you were and then see where you are, then people won't say that I don't feel I'm growing. When I hear that from people, it's like, what do you mean you don't feel you're growing? And then we make the comparison between what did you do 15, 20 years ago? Describe to me your life then. And then what is it now? And then as you're describing what they're doing or what they have access to, like in my day, we had to get on our bikes and go to the library to check out and research stuff. And then eventually we went high tech in that way, where we got a Britannica encyclopedia in our home, so that we don't have to go to the library all the time. But now you have it on your phone. I don't even have to punch anything in. All I have to do is ask my phone, what's the population of China now, and I'll get it in seconds. So in other words, and it's in real time. It's not printed, so it's always changing. And so this is what I have access to now. But when we looked at what we had access to a long time ago, it's a lot different. So anyway, being that as it is, we need to realize that our third eye and our solar plexus is really going to be rewired and redone. So just before we hit the meditation, I want to give you a little technique of how to breathe through the next 15 minutes once we start the meditation. What I want you to do is I want you to envision in your forehead, in your third eye, that there's an opening, an imaginary opening. And when you breathe in, I want you to see violet or indigo light going through there. Okay? It goes in that part of your forehead. And when you exhale, I want you to push that energy down through your heart, all right, then to your solar plexus, and coming out yellow in that area, in that solar plex area. So you breathe in that indigo, violet color, and then when you exhale, have it go through your heart and then push through to the solar plexus and then out. That way your heart is all part of this whole system. Now you have those three centers that are aligned, that are all about, and that's what we're really trying to do. So to help you with this, we're going to play the meditation that we did on our sound bath. Now that sound bath was a 2-hour program. We're going to play you just 15 minutes, maybe 10, 15 minutes of it or so, because there's some frequencies in there that I couldn't duplicate. I tried to find various ones that would be close, and all Spirit says is, no, just play a little bit of the sound bath, because that, when we channeled that to you, that was specifically for the summer solstice, okay? So that's what we're going to do for you today. So take a nice deep breath of this energy, okay? And we'll see you in a little bit, okay? a deep breath. Just slowly come back to the room that you're in. That gives you just a small sample of that sound bath, but it's all about finding the light within you. Okay, that's really what this is all about, is to find and accommodate more. Just be kind to yourself. If you are feeling tired, then just lie down. If you need to just take a rest more than you need to. There's nothing wrong physically. It's just that your body is following something that you're still trying to understand. That's all Spirit is saying, okay? So just give yourself a little bit of slack to find out really where this wants to go, all right? So until next week, we're going to be doing next week, it looks like it's going to be the 26. Oh, that might be the 2nd. So it'll be, it might be that one. The 7/7. I'm going to be doing that probably in the next week or two, because there's going to be another surge of energy coming on the 7/7, the July the 7th. So we're going to be talking about that in the coming weeks. Okay, so until next week, have yourself a great weekend. Know that you matter, and if you want more information on the sound bath that you heard, if it resonates with you, just simply email me at info@lovehigherself.com, and just say that you would like that sound bath, and we'll send you the proper registration and stuff to get through that, and we'll send it to you, and you'd have it all the time. So until next week, know that you matter. I love you all.